What's up, homies, and welcome back. Today I'm actually gonna show you guys what in my opinion is one of the coolest or slash funniest class setups to actually run in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. We all know that the game, it's kind of fairly structured in a way in which if you actually want to do good, you need to use particularly good weapons. Let's say Bolt 27, ASM1s, and that kind of good stuff. But recently, a new kid just entered the playground, and that kid is actually the XMGs. I mean, they were fairly good before, but now they're absolutely beast-like. I mean, they received a patch by which the hipfire spread just got tightened to a new level, and now you can hipfire the enemy team with no problem whatsoever. I mean, I don't think I've ever actually gone in lockdown mode anymore. But this class setup is basically structured on the concept of Terminator. I mean, we all know the movie Terminator, and we all know that the guy is basically a robot, and it has human form, but it's basically just a bunch of circuits and metal. And the cool fact about this class setups is that we're actually going to be using what in my opinion is the coolest slash most unique slash my favorite weapon in Advanced Warfare, aka the XMGs. Now personally, I already have a couple of variants. I also used to have the LOVE variant, the bacon and eggs, but sadly I think I actually redeemed that gun for something else. I don't remember, I don't know why I cannot find it. Personally, the one that I prefer right now are the XMGs Chicken and Waffles, because they have that increased fire rate for a little bit less accuracy and a little bit less handling, which is not that bad. There is also the meat and potatoes, which are fairly good. It has an increased damage for a little bit lower accuracy, but I personally prefer the higher fire rate of the Chicken and Waffles, which sounds absolutely weird saying it out loud, but yeah, that's the name of the gun. In terms of the actual perks, we're gonna be using something a little bit different than usual. I mean, usually I would recommend using low profile, blind eye, scavenger, and toughness, or let's say toughness and blast suppressor. Those are the usually standard perks. But this time we're actually gonna be using something a little bit different. This time we're gonna have a different approach to the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare kind of playstyle. In fact, we're gonna run Danger Close, which is a particularly unique perk, especially due to the Scorestreaks that we're actually going to be using. We're going to be running Gung Ho, which as I already explained yesterday is going to take away the half a second slash to a second delay between when you actually stop running and when you actually start shooting, which is absolutely fundamental in a fast-paced game like Advanced Warfare. And then we're going to be running Scavenger and Toughness. Right now, I don't really know if Toughness is the perk, you know, the way to go perk for this particular class setup, since basically we're going to be hip-firing our way through nasty situations. So Toughness is not really that needed. If you have any suggestions of whatever perk should be placed instead of Toughness, please, there is a comment section down below. Feel free to do so. In terms of the actually attachments for the Chicken and Waffles, we're going to be using the two that are basically the most used slash most useful ones, which are the rapid fire and the laser sight. I mean, the gun already has a tight hipfire spread, but with Gung Ho, which already tightens the hipfire spread, and laser sight, this gun literally becomes the ultimate quote-unquote hipfire machine. And the rapid fire, with the already increased rapid fire of the Chicken and Waffles being a variant that has an increased fire rate, it literally does transform this gun into a beast. In terms of the actually Scorestreaks, we're going to be running something completely different from basically any other class setup video you ever seen on YouTube. I mean, this is by far not a class setup that is gonna allow you to become, you know, a crazy good pub stomper, or you're gonna drop 100 plazas, triple DNAs, and that kind of good stuff. It's just a class setup to have a buttload of fun, which I highly recommend, because personally I'm loving this class setup. I've been using it the entire day playing ground war, and this is also another particularly important aspect of this class setup. In order to, you know, use it at the best of its actual abilities, you need to be playing in a game mode that has a lot of enemies, and with enemies that are actually concentrating in playing the objective. In fact, I kind of recommend this playstyle or this particular class setup for game modes such as, I don't know, ground war domination or hardpoint or momentum, that kind of, you know, highly objective intense game modes that require a lot of objective plays, because that's where you're actually gonna make the most out of the XMGs, because you're gonna be spraying the enemy team down like nothing, man. In terms of the first Scorestreak, we're actually going to be using something fairly basic, which is the UAV. In terms of the actually attachments for the UAV, I highly recommend to have time, speed, and threat detection. I mean, threat detection is the ultimate UAV attachment. It's the one that almost anyone runs because it's so good. In terms of the second score streak, we're actually going to be running the rockets on the aerial assault drone and also the AI control, because no one actually wants to take care of, you know, controlling the rockets. In terms of the score streaks, I'm actually going to recommend something that I've actually never played with before. It was something new, but I've had a lot of fun playing with, which is actually the Goliath. I mean, we all know that the Goliath basically resembles what Terminator is. You entered the suit and now you're suddenly able to just spray with this LMG that you found on your right arm, and then you have homing missiles and rockets and all that kind of good stuff. In fact, in terms of the attachments, we're actually going to be running the homing rockets, the underbarrel rocket, and also the trophy system. I mean, the trophy system is really important because if I've noticed something in Advanced Warfare is that the only way to actually destroy a Goliath and do it fairly fast is to actually shoot a buttload of explosive to it. And the trophy system actually covers our butt in that kind of situation. Going on, we're actually going to be using the wall card, the assault tier wall card, that basically enables us to actually have a 4th score streak in our score streaks. And for that, we're actually going to be using one of the weirdest ones that I personally don't find to be that useful in general, but it just so happens that in certain lobbies you just mow down people. And that is the rocket turret. I mean, we all know that the rocket turret, the sentry gun, it's not as useful as in past Call of Duties because of blind eye. I mean, unless you're actually controlling the rocket turret or let's say the sentry gun, there is actually a really low chance of you actually getting more than a couple of kills with it. And considering that it actually costs a good amount of points to actually gag, it doesn't seem that good of an investment. But if you actually play Ground War, chances are a lot of people won't be running blind eye. They used to, you know, double stack on perk 1 and perk 3 because they're the most used ones, and that's what we're actually going to be using and exploding throughout the entirety of this class setup. In fact, we're going to be using the rocket turret with the rocket attachments with the heavy resistance, because we actually want to, you know, provide some kind of backup to our turret so that it's not going to get destroyed as soon as someone actually finds himself in front of the turret. And finally, the sentry, which is the most important attachment, because let's face it, without sentry, the rocket turret or the sentry gun is absolutely pointless. You just set it there and it doesn't do anything by itself. I mean, it's completely different from any other sentry gun in any other Call of Duty, and it's not that useful. But I had a buttload of fun to actually try and go around and play around in Ground War with this XMG class setup, Terminator style class setup, and I don't know, man, I highly recommend it. It's a buttload of fun, and trust me when I say this, it's one of those class setups that a lot of people don't think about it, and they sincerely underrate it. They're like, no, there is no way you're actually gonna be able to do good with this class setup. But trust me, it's a buttload of fun, and it's time well spent, let's put it this way. In the end, in video games, you should always aim to have fun and have fun only. Hope you all had a beautiful, beautiful day. Hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, bye-bye.
Enemy UAV above. Friendly bombing run incoming. Warbird assistance requested. Incoming enemy care package. Losing Alpha. Our UAV is online.